Well, this is quiz number 4, and historically it's been a tough quiz, so I've decided to make a YouTube for helping review the quiz. Let's start with question number 1, and notice that it has 2 parts. Write an expression in simplest form. Simplest form. Okay? It has to represent the perimeter, that means all around, and then use that expression to find the perimeter if y is 15. The way I do that is I count clockwise. So I have 1y, 2y's, 3y's, 4y's. I have 5y's. 5y's. And then I have 2 plus 6, which would be 8. Nothing, nothing, and 6 more. 8 and 6, 14. And then I take my 15 for y, 5 times 15 plus 14. Why, that's 75 plus 14, 89. Question 2 asks us to solve. It's an equal. We're clearly on step number 4. The variable is t, so we need to divide by the coefficient, minus 16. Notice that 64 over 16, they're both even, but more important, they both have 8s, and in fact 16 goes into 64 evenly 4 times. So t equals 4. The next question says solve as well. There's y's on 2 sides. More y's on the right side. So we start by using the opposite sign of the plus, do the exact same number, and do the same thing to the other side. Since we moved the y's to the right, I'm going to use the opposite sign of the plus and use a minus 8 on both sides. And when I draw my line, I see I have 32 minus 27. I'm going to move that over here. 32 minus 27 is 5 y's left. And I have minus 7 plus a minus 8. That's minus 15. So when I do my short line and step number 4, I find that y equals negative 3. Problem number 4, we first recognize it's a solve, and we have to gather our like terms. I like to commute the 7, plus 7, and the plus 12 together. 7 and 12 are 19. 19 subtract 10 is 9x on the left. And on the right, I have minus 14 plus 5. So I have 36 minus 9x. Now, minus is smaller than positive, so I'm going to do the opposite sign and add 9x to both sides, step 3. And I get 18x equals 36. When I do my short line, I see that x equals 36 over 18, but that's 2. Well, here's these word problems. It says 2-part. First, we're supposed to translate to an equation and then solve. Here's an of. So the sum of, that means x and 5 are in parens. So I have x and 5 in parens. X sum 5 in parens. Subtracted from. Subtracted from. That's the other term, like less than. That means you have to take it away rather than subtracting directly. You take it away from 8 times x. So we have to subtract from 8 times x, x plus 5. Is the same as means equal. 13 plus the product of. So we have 13 plus the product. Now we have of. So that's 2 and the difference, another of x and 2. So notice we have two sets of parens because we have two ofs. So the product of 2 and the difference of x and 2. That's 3 ofs in a single sentence. And so we have to be very careful with our parens. When we distribute through this, we solve and find that x equals 2. Explain the mistake in the translation, then write the correct translation. 12 subtracted from a number, subtracted from again, a number is 31. Well, see, they have it backwards. You're supposed to subtract 12 from the number. So from the number we're taking 12, and that's 31. Notice that that was explained by saying the subtraction was wrong and then writing it correctly. The next problem is the same. Explain the mistake. They're not asking us to solve. Negative 4 times x minus 3. Well, wait a minute. There's no of. There's no of. So this is just negative 4 times x minus 3. This is negative 4 times x minus 3. There's no of. So that's the explanation there. Is the same as equal as 5 times the difference. There is an of. Difference of x and 6 as 5 times the difference of x and 6. And that's the correct, and it's because there's no of on the left and there is on the right. The sum of the measures of the angles in any triangle is 180. Well, we know that. A and B have the same measure. While angle C is 3 degrees larger than each of the other two angles. Other, that's the key word, right? Find the measure of angle C. So notice that is a word problem that's solved. So x equals the isosceles angles. So in our triangle, we have x degrees, and the third one, C, is 3 larger. So it's x degrees plus 3 degrees. Well, that's 1, 2, 3 x's plus 3 degrees must be equal to 180 degrees. So when we subtract our 3 and draw our line, we see that 3x equals 177. And so when we divide by 3, 3 goes into 177 5 times and 27 9, 59. But notice that 59 is x. X is the isosceles triangles. They want angle C. We need to add 3 to 59. And of course 59 plus 3 is 62 degrees. Find the length of a rectangular lot with a perimeter of 116 meters if the length is 4 meters more than the width. Well, this is a geometry problem. So we're supposed to draw a rectangle. Now it says the length is 4 meters more than the width. It's a word problem. So x equals the width, where and x plus 4 meters equals the length. So we put that in, x plus 4, x, and x plus 4. And now we walk around the perimeter, 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. 4 plus 4, 8. That's supposed to equal the entire 116 meter perimeter. So when we do our step 3, opposite sign, minus 8 on both sides, and we find that 4x equals 108, and then step 4, short line, we see that x, the width, 4 going into 10 twice and into 28 7, the width is 27, but they want the length. So we have to go x plus 4, or 27 plus 4. Of course, 27 plus 4, 31 meters. Oh boy, the bill problem. Okay, so Andy has some $10 bills and some $20 bills. They're in a shoebox under his bed. He has a total of 60 bills worth $840. How many bills, $20 bills, does he have? This is a word problem. The first thing we have to do is say that they're asking for $20 bills. So X is the number of $20 bills. There are a total of 60 bills. So 60 minus X equals the number of $10 bills. The total is $840. So we recognize that we have X $20 bills. So $20 times X bills plus $10 times 60 minus X bills must equal $840. We distribute through and find that Andy has 24 $20 bills.